Hi, I'm Keisha Bisram,
And I'm Hanji Chow.
and you're listening to the Every Shade Podcast.
Season 2. Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know why it just told me that it's recording in progress. I've never had that message before.
What is it?
Like Zoom just told me recording in progress. Like actually voiced it out. It was very bizarre. I don't know why.
Oh, it's weird.
Um,
It's like talking to you.
Hi, sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. I was literally just watching the first 8 minutes of In the Heights.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, they just released like the first 8 minutes of it, and it's looking really, really good.
okay. That's like
So
the
I'm just
next
trying to
thing
find
to
out
watch.
when. Right, I'm trying to find out when it's released here. Um, so I got carried away for a second and then realized we were doing this. Wait, when is it coming out? It's out. It's out of your side soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
I've been seeing advertisements about it everywhere in the city.
I mean, naturally.
For sure, yeah. Like it's like
But,
a heavy reminder. That's something I need to watch.
yeah, it looks really, really good.
Good, yeah. Sorry, I'm eating cherries.
So good. Oh, that's okay. I was also doing I got the Nintendo Switch Ring Fit the other day, which is like I don't know if you know about it. It's like this fitness exercise game thing on the Switch. It's really hard.
Is it? No, I don't know anything about it. I have the Switch, but I don't know anything about that.
Oh right. So basically it's like I think it was released like last year, but it comes with this sort of like ring like accessory.
Okay.
And that's like part of the game. Anyway, it's basically like a really intense cardio game. And I did that for like half an hour and I was like tuckered out. It's really hard. Because it gets you doing like squats and like presses and you use this fucking like ring thing. It's a really, really cool concept because it gets you working out and playing a game without actually reminding you that you're working out.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it's really good, and it's really fun. So yeah, I'm like tuckered out from it. How are you?
Oh, good. We haven't seen each other via Zoom in
It's like 2 weeks. It's
yeah.
like two. It's yeah. We haven't seen each other 2 weeks because
Yeah.
last week I fucked up and forgot that I was going on like a staycation, and not, as if I needed a reason or to have a staycation or to have a vacation because I've done absolutely fucking nothing this year.
Yeah. I need a vacation / staycation.
I just need to like
from like life.
like I need a vacation from this fucking planet.
Yeah. That sounds
like,
about right.
Send me to Mars, like please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't seen each other for like 2 weeks. And since then, I got my first Pfizer shot.
Woo!
Yay.
Yay.
Which basically means my second Pfizer shot's not till like fucking weeks later or months later, and whatever. That's like I guess I'll just roll the dice and maybe not die in the next 2 months.
You'll be fine. You'll be okay. I trust it.
Yes, well, we'll hope. What have you been up to?
Oh my god, in the past 2 weeks, what have I been up to? I'm trying to think. It's like nothing much. One thing I have been doing is I've been going out a little bit more with some friends. So,
I thought you were about to say one thing I've been doing is going out a lot. I'm like, okay, fine, rub it in the wound.
And while still being like a little bit cautious and stuff. But one thing that I've noticed, and it's so bizarre, but I feel, even though these are people that I already know, some of them are like family, some of them are friends that I've known for a long time, and I feel socially awkward. And
oh, really?
it's even like before COVID, before I even moved to Los Angeles, I was like in work move mode. So I wasn't really socializing as much. And then when I moved to LA, I also didn't socialize as much either because, the move took up a lot of time, and then the pandemic hit after that. So it's like I had a long time of like not really socializing with people
Mm-hmm.
or having that like connection with humans.
Mm-hmm.
And since I've got back, I've only been going out just a little bit here and there, but recently in the past like 2 weeks, I've been going out a little bit more. And I think because like I'm also single, so I guess I'm like free as like a human, And on top of that, like hanging out with people more and really connecting with them, like I feel this weird wave in my body that I feel socially awkward. Like
Oh,
it's really
interesting.
bizarre. Yeah, I don't know why.
That's interesting because I would be like, please talk to me. Like, please.
Totally.
I'll just be like, get it in people's faces. Please connect with me.
Oh my god! If only we were doing this for YouTube, that screenshot of you just getting up there is really funny.
Please be my friend.
That's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought I was gonna
Yeah.
be like really intense and like really like in people's faces. And don't get me wrong, I was excited to be in that space and be with people. I was super uber like crazily excited, but at the same time, I felt like I don't know how to talk to humans. Like
No.
it was I don't know.
That could also be a mix of don't know how to talk to humans and also I don't want to talk to you. I mean, like as much as I want to have social interactions, part of me is also like I kind of am okay with not talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you and
Right?
I are both like extrovert, introverts sort of people. Like
Yeah,
we're totally okay with like not being around humans, and we're okay with like
yeah.
being with ourselves, but we also like being with people too. So it's like there's that balance. But I
Mm.
realized that in the past like 2 weeks, and it was just a very interesting feeling. I mean, nothing. It's nothing bad, I feel like eventually it's gonna flow back to its
Fingers
place.
crossed.
I'm like this forever. I can't talk to people. I'm a changed woman. um, and yeah, that's about it. I've been, just working and oh my god, I can't even think about like what really happened. Oh, another thing that's been happening is, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier with you, but again, because last year I did not drink as I guess as much as most people drank during the pandemic.
Hmm.
I had like terrible skin issues, right? And so I didn't really drink alcohol. I probably had like 3 bottles out of the year of wine and like
Right.
one sake. Um, so now when I'm going out with friends, I even went out on a
Did you
date.
get crunk?
Yeah, like I'm over drinking. I'm like drinking way too much.
You little alcoholic.
So I went out on a date on Wednesday night, and me and this guy, we ordered 2 glasses of rosé. We liked the rosé, so then we got a bottle of rosé, and then after that, we went to a bar and we got two. I got two like a whiskey on the rocks, and which is a lot for my body. Like I'm not that I have a low tolerance, but I also don't have a high tolerance. Like I'm like medium. And that night I just looked at him and I'm like, I need to hop in an Uber and get home. Like I am about to like pass out. But every time I'm going out, like I'm over consuming alcohol because I think I'm just so excited, like
Mhm.
that's excitement of like, oh yes, being out, connecting and like being able to drink without having like my body itching. Uh,
Mm.
so it's really exciting. Like it's like exhilarating that I can like do what I have to do and enjoy my alcohol. And what's happening now is that I'm over consuming. This past weekend, my body was just it was shot. Oh my god. I drank on Saturday. Yesterday I did not drink, but I felt like my body was breaking down. It was like, Keisha, you need to like calm it down and just rest. I came home last night and I passed out and I slept in this morning and I'm good. That's been happening. Like not really a major life story, but
Well, it's not a problem if you acknowledge it. So,
that's very true. What about you? How's the past 2 weeks for you?
No, that was it. Yep, Pfizer staycation. That was it, and no, that's pretty much it. Um, I've been like bitching and moaning about getting a massage for like forever. And then I had one. I got a Swedish massage. It was really nice. But then also I was like, she could have gone. I wish like she could have like gone harder
Mm,
and like just made it not unpleasant, but like just gone deeper and like harder. Sounds terrible. I know I'm yeah. Anyway, um, but
I get that.
sounds really filthy. But no, I wish you would just went like a smidge harder and just like really like went in.
Get in there
But
and
no,
get
that was the only
comfortable.
criticism. But it was really good. It was really relaxing. And yeah, it was a nice time. I went from like being out in the sticks to further out in the sticks. I don't know how that is even possible, but I did. Um yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
super. That's I get that.
But
I got a massage when I was in Vegas a couple months ago, and
mhm.
um, it was my first in like well, maybe like 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever. Um, and yeah, it was a nice massage, but I remember feeling like I really wish that guy like went deep into like my muscles. Like
Right?
he
I
kind of
just
wants
want
that.
someone to like really like
Get in there.
crack me like a glow stick and also just like do like just like this obliterate my muscles. I just need
Yeah.
that. Just really just be really rough with me, right?
Yes.
Just really rough, go really hard and go really deep. Is that so much to ask for?
And why don't they get it?
I know, right? Oh God, why can't I? That's not a huge ask. That's all I want. But then also, um, I managed to find the time during my staycation to watch the finale of Mare of Easttown, which I got you hooked on.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm so glad that like you actually. It's actually better that we didn't do last week because I don't know why I assumed that you finished the episode the series of Mare of Easttown.
Because I would have actually finished it if I didn't go on if I didn't go on
Got it.
vacation. But it was basically like I basically delayed the viewing of the finale by like a whole day.
Okay.
But I would have watched it regardless. It was just last week because I was there anyway. Yeah.
Oh my god. So it's funny. Mare of Easttown's not even on our review. It's
No,
the Friends reunion and the
Taylor Princess Kaguya. Yeah.
yeah, which I loved both of those. But before we get into that, right before we were supposed to have, I supposed to have like our Zoom meeting last week Monday. I finished the last episode of Mare of Easttown, and the night before I was gonna watch it when it premiered, but like for some reason my Wi-Fi got all crazy and wasn't
Oh,
working. And it was like 10 p.m. at night, and I just thought, I'm just gonna go to sleep and I could watch it in
yeah.
the morning. So I managed to like watch it right after breakfast before our
Oh,
meeting.
you did? Oh, literally
Yeah,
when we were
the rest of
right.
it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I was in tears. I was crying like a
Oh,
little baby, and I was like, I need someone to talk to.
yes.
So I'm
Yes.
glad that you and I were able to like talk via WhatsApp because that did help a little
Like
bit.
much later on.
Much
Yeah.
later on, yeah, but it was like in me. I was so emotional after
Oh my
watching
God. It was
that episode.
such a gorge. It was so beautiful. And you know how we were talking about how like it ended so well and that there can't possibly be a season two
Yeah,
because there's like enough people's lives were ruined.
yeah.
Um, but I literally just saw an article that like Kate Winslet's open to doing a season two.
Well, you know what? I thought about it a little bit more, and like I know you and I talked about like just what happened in the whole series.
Mm,
And one thing that I couldn't like let go of was the thought of how unfinished her life is. Because like
mm,
it's interesting how like she lost her son and yet
right.
she was affecting like all these other mothers
Mm-hmm.
around her without intentionally doing so. And I don't know, I just feel like yeah, it ended so beautifully, but I also feel like it just wasn't done.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think
feel like it
about
was
it.
done.
I felt the same way, but then like days later, I just thought about it more and more, and I'm like, I don't know. Like,
But then again, like,
I mean, if they did not do a season two, I would be satisfied. I wouldn't be
right.
like,
But in terms of whether it was done or not, I don't think doing a second season or carrying it on would solve that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just because, like, isn't that our our the state that we like, isn't that how we go through life, where like we're never finished, like our
yeah, for
story is never.
sure.
So
That's like
I feel
chapter
like leaving it as it did, like, is it was such a gorgeous ending, because she just, like, I know we briefly talked about this, but like she just goes up into spoiler alert, she goes up into the attic, and then that's the end of it.
From a filmmaker's perspective, I
Oh my
love
god, it
that
was gorgeous.
shot that she like slowly like gently walked up the ladder and that was
Yeah.
black and that was perfectly done. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see what they would do, but
Yeah, right.
seems
Who
like
else dies in season two?
everyone suffered. Everyone suffered, and they're
Oh my
all
god,
gray.
everyone suffered. It
Like,
was so beautiful though. Like, it's so tragic because, like, the family just did everything they could to protect the kid, and even the dad, like, taking the fall for it, and even the uncle, like, wanting to shoot himself for
yeah,
it. Like, they all did everything to cover up.
yeah,
And then, like, oh, like, and also, like, the detective work that went into it and how she figured it all out, I was like, whoa, this is like
yeah.
insane. um but yeah, like, the fact that everyone did everything they could, everyone in his family did everything they could to, like, protect the kid, it didn't make me mind so much, like, the roller coaster of it all, like how you thought it was one person and then it was someone else, and then actually no, it wasn't someone else. And, like, normally that would just annoy the hell out of me, because that is just like a whole hour of just the writer not deciding who the actual killer is. But the way they did it, and like the motivations behind it, was just so compelling. um
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that roller coaster of emotions.
I think what makes it so compelling too is because they're a community of people, right?
Hmm.
Like I grew up in Staten Island, New York, and like Staten Island is very community based. There's a saying that everyone on the island knows each other.
Right.
It's true, I mean, I kind of like backed away from that stereotype. But if I think about like my family members who have a community out here, it's like they're like, it's like a family, right? Like it's just
Mm.
like a family that's not connected by blood. And I feel like I think that the reason why Mare of Easttown works so well with that roller coaster, because what you were saying, it's like, yeah, naturally that would annoy me. Like, ugh, they're
Yeah.
just jumping around people. But they were all a community of people
Mm.
that knew each other, because when
Mm.
Zale came in and like asked Mare, like, do you know these people? And like she's like, but like she kind of brushed it off, but it's like, yeah, like that's the culture of like
Yeah.
of how they lived. Everyone knows each other, and
Yeah.
usually when someone does get murdered, they usually get murdered by a family member or a girlfriend or
Hmm.
boyfriend or wife or husband. So it's always somebody that you
Hmm.
know. So it makes sense in the story because
Oh, for sure.
everyone knew each other and everyone were so deeply connected. Like, yeah, she's my student back then, but it's like it means a lot more than like if someone was a student in like the city.
Mm.
It's just it's very different connection. It's
Mm.
there's like a
Is
level
there
of
a
like familial connection or like being a family. So yeah, it would make sense that it would be someone that they knew, but they knew everybody.
right? Is there a mayor equivalent in Staten Island?
I wouldn't know. I mean, like East Town was like definitely a lot smaller than Staten Island. From
Oh
what
yeah.
I gained, a lot smaller. So like Staten Island's a bit of a larger scale. But there is, I mean, growing up, like I'm just trying to think, going back to my memory bank. Growing up, like um yeah, if you knew someone who was a cop, like you knew all the cops. You knew all the
Hmm.
firefighters, you
Oh.
know the EMT, like you know people, you know.
Huh.
yeah, you just like know people.
Interesting.
I don't know if I wouldn't say if there is a mayor, because Staten Island is so large and like the
Yeah.
mass. I think in comparison to
Right.
Easttown, like it's really really tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you just know people.
Mm.
I know for a fact that like my sister, like at some point she was dating a cop like a decade ago, and it was crazy, like the connections that she ended up like
Oh
making.
God, that's like a great thing, but also like terrible.
Yeah,
Like everyone knows your fucking business.
well,
Like,
that's the downside of it. That's kind of why I strayed away from Staten Island. Like,
you're like, nope, hard pass on
yeah,
that.
it's everyone knows your life story, your business. There's something cool
Yeah.
about it because like they have your back always,
Oh yeah,
right? Like they have your back. They're always there for you. They're very loyal. But when they
to a fault.
know everything about you, it can be very invasive.
Oh,
And
for sure,
it's
for sure.
a little much. But yeah,
Sure.
I think that's why the show definitely works because
Mm.
it was there weren't nobody was really strangers. Like I guess Zabel was the only
No,
outsider, probably.
no.
Yeah, he's probably the only outsider.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
my God, he was so heartbreaking when he got shot and died.
I got so angry at that moment.
Oh, me
I was
too.
so upset.
Me too, man. I was like, what the fuck is like, why? Pull your fucking gun out sooner. Like, that's what you have. But on the subject of no strangers in community, that's a good segue into our actual review
Yes.
or thoughts on the Friends Reunited special. I know.
My heart.
4 minutes in, I was like, "Oh my God!" When Lisa Kudrow and David Schwimmer like hugged, that was it. I was like, "Okay, that's
Just
it for
thinking
the next
about
2 hours."
my heart is melting right now. My eyes are like forming with tears. It was so lovely to watch. I think the reason why I loved the way they did it is that it was such a, even though there was a glamorized section of it, it was pretty casual the way that it was done.
Yeah, it was super cash.
It was nice. It was nice to just see them interact as like human beings rather than like glamorizing them and doing some sort of obnoxious sort of,
Right.
making it obnoxious. They just kept it very humble and very sweet. Like seeing them talk and like interact was just so nice because
Oh yeah.
I think it's nice knowing that they formed a nice camaraderie and also kept in touch over the years, and they're still naturally like friends with one another. And then also hearing them talk about like their past was really nice. But what really got to me, what really made me cry was when they showed people around the world who were influenced by Friends.
Oh.
It made me think about like I didn't realize like how much that show has actually impacted me, because I've been watching it since I was a kid, rewatching it, never getting sick of it.
Right.
To this day, I'll still watch it. And yeah, there's something I think and it's something like that I never really thought of. And I guess watching it now, like having this thought, but it was such a simple show. And the story between them, like they were all just six people who collectively, unconditionally had this love for each other, and they were just friends. They always had each other's back.
Yeah.
And they never I don't know, there was something, even though some parts were very unrelatable, but there was some, you were able to relate to them in some sort of way.
For sure. I mean, when when we're talking about all these people saying about how the show impacted them, yes, that's really hard. But also, actually, my first thought when they were doing that little like segment was that, oh wow, like the royalties they're getting from this is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, they're set for life, man.
They are set for life.
They literally don't have to work. Why is Jennifer Aniston still acting? Stop.
We're still fucking streaming it.
Yeah.
Like we're still streaming. But genuinely, I was like, wow, the royalties they're getting from this, from all the different countries across the world, I was like, that is insane.
Yeah. I think James Corden mentioned all the stats of like how the show watched over 100 billion times, and I was like, that's incorrect, because I definitely watched it over 100 billion times.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um,
Oh my
yeah,
god, the
there's that.
residuals on that. Oh,
It's insane.
but
Yeah. My favorite part, one of my favorite parts too, was when they actually talked about what it was like acting,
mhm.
because that's something that I've recognized this, and I don't know if you recognize this too, but talking to non-actors or non-artists, it's really difficult to express what we go through. And even if we try, the other person doesn't really, I guess, reciprocate it as much, or they don't really understand, or it's just hard to express it. I know I have a
Mhm.
hard time with that. So hearing them actually express what it was like acting was very nice to hear, because I think a lot of people do go through that they were just nervous, like they're just human beings, and it was
Mm,
nice to see them like just humbly like talk about that.
mm.
Um, I have to admit, I did not like the part with Lady Gaga and Smelly Cat.
That was like,
And no hate on her. I love Lady Gaga. I do not dislike her at all. But it was
uh-huh.
I did not enjoy it.
I mean, even at the end of the segment, like Lisa Kudrow said, actually, I think it was better if it was just me. But
And in reality, I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh, I think so too. It would have been better for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But no, I really enjoyed their like table read.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh my god, like so much of this is still the same.
They slipped right back into it, which is crazy.
Yeah,
And when they were doing they were splitting from the actual show that was recorded, and when they were splitting back and forth. I'm like, damn.
yeah. I was like, what,
They
like
slipped right
what?
back into it. Yeah. Even like their,
Yeah.
their mannerisms and their physicality.
Yeah. Oh my god, and Phoebe's like, oh my god, my eyes bit.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love that part. Oh my god.
It's so good.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
it was
and
sweet. It was very
and
sweet, very
and the
sweet. Yeah.
whole like and that scene with like Rachel and Ross like
Yeah.
splitting up and getting back together again, and then like all that alongside like the interview bit where we find out that they had like a crush for each other for like the first
Yeah.
season. I was like, what? I was
Oh,
like, that's really professional.
yeah. Speaking of of revealing information, I died when David Schwimmer talked about Marcel,
Oh my god, yeah, the
because he
monkey.
just let it all. He took the
He hated that
opportunity to
monkey.
let that shit out. Like,
He
fuck
hated
that
that
monkey.
monkey. It's so funny.
Which is
Oh
so
my
funny.
god.
I loved that monkey, and I loved all the scenes that he had with the monkey, and just
Oh,
very,
I was never really attached to Marcel. I was like,
it was just
whatever.
cute. Like him and the monkey were just really cute. It was
Like,
just really
whatever.
fun to watch, and then just to hear him say that he was not into
Mm,
the monkey at all was the funniest thing. That
mm.
I think it was the funniest thing of like the
mm.
revealing of like their experience.
I mean, I still don't like that James Corden was there.
Yeah,
I was, he's fucking in everything, and whatever he's in, he's just not funny at all, and just kind of ruins it.
yeah.
Um, but um, but yeah, like
But he wasn't in it too
I,
much, thankfully, because
yeah,
there are moments that they
thankfully,
sidestepped. Yeah, which I
but
was kind of
all the other celebrities in their house, I don't really think we needed to see them.
well, the ones that they brought back from the actual show were the ones that I cared.
Oh, yes, from the show, of
Yeah,
course. But the
because
ones that they didn't bring back from the show, like Paul Rudd, like, hello.
yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to say that it's kind of incredible to think that everyone's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. The parents, like the Monica and
Yeah,
Ross's parents, I was like, oh my God, they're like still alive.
and Mr. Heckles.
Oh my God, Mr. He looks the same.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, these people are still alive. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but like whoever produced this reunion and decided to put it together, like these people definitely took the opportunity, because it's like
Mm,
it's either now or never, or
mm.
if it happened in the future, somebody would have passed, but like, and that kind of would have been heartbreaking. But everyone's alive,
Yeah,
So this is like perfect
yeah.
fun. But yeah, there were celebrities that like I didn't care. I like the whole Lady Gaga thing. Like I'm like, why? Like she's not even part of
Mm,
the era. Like I love
mm,
her. I know she's like relative now, but like it doesn't make me feel nostalgic. And then
No.
when they were doing the fashion show, like, you know, it was cute that they had those. I mean, that was okay because you're not seeing Justin Bieber's face, but like, how fun would it be? How fun would it be if it was like someone else from the show? Like, I don't know. It was like moments like that I didn't really care for.
No, for sure. I mean, like, I get that all these celebrities were there because, you know, oh yes, friends affected them as well, like influenced them, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I didn't see the need for them to be there.
Yeah, I am glad that they brought Janice back though.
Oh my God, Janice, yes, yes.
I'm glad they actually brought her onto the sofa too. Like that was
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like, if anything, I wish that, you know, Paul Rudd was there, and
Yeah.
and
Or even
oh
what's the
God, what was
other
the
guy
name of
that
Ross's son?
oh my god. Ben?
Ben, yeah. But
Yeah.
the actor who played it is like one of the twins
Oh yeah, you're right.
of
I forget their names.
God damn it, what were they in? They were like, when they were
Zach and
kids, they
Cody?
were in
Was
like
that
The
their
Sweet
name?
Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like Emma. I'm sure she's like grown up now.
What about that guy that Phoebe originally was dating, the scientist, the one that went to
Oh yeah, Hank Azaria.
yeah. You know what's funny? I watching the show, I even to the very end, I really wish that they had ended up together. I
Really?
really loved him. I thought he was so
Oh
cute. I
no,
love
he
like
annoyed
I
me.
love dorky, weird, nerdy guys. So it's
Oh
like
no.
that's like I just absolutely adored him. And when she ended up with Paul Rudd, not that I didn't like Paul Rudd's character, I liked his character a lot, but I was like, okay, that's all right.
No, Paul Rudd's great.
He's cute too.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't care much for the celebrities. But then also the story behind how they created the show was like really like was great. I was like, oh, those creators are also getting a shit ton of like residuals.
They don't have to work any for the rest of their lives either. You know,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah.
They're good to go.
They're set.
It's yeah, like their idea was so simple.
Oh yeah, very
And
simple.
I know around that time when sitcoms were a big thing and they were doing a lot of pilots and shows were coming and going, and like I remember like watching sitcoms as a kid too. Like some shows didn't last, or they were talking about like doing pilots that never were picked up. And you know, Friends was when they talked about like the kind of show that they wanted, the story they want to tell. It was so simple. It was just simple, like just a bunch of like young people who are just friends that like come together and like, you know, are dealing with life. And like, yeah, that's a great storyline actually. It sounds really like shallow, but like it's kind of not at the same time because it connected with everybody.
Yeah.
They were able to develop all of these stories, like all of these weird moments with them, you know, like
No, it's kind of crazy, right? It's so good.
yeah.
It was so good.
So yeah, it was you know, my sister didn't watch the reunion yet. She was like, "Oh, how was it?" And I was like, "It's actually really fun and sweet. It's not like
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very nostalgic, but unfortunately, that's all it is.
yeah,
Like I know, like I'm sure there were people who were like, "Oh my God, they're like actually doing a whole episode," but it's like, I mean, it's like what they said in the actual one in the interview bit. It was like there was just no reason to carry on the story because it ended so well.
yeah. I think what's her name? Her name is slipping my mind. Monica's character, the actress who played Monica.
Courtney
Courtney
Cox.
Cox. Yeah, Courtney Cox said how in order to do that they would have to unravel all of their stories,
Yeah,
which is true because
it's so true.
if you think about how they all found like happiness and comfort for
Mm.
their next chapter in their lives, it's like, do you really want to see? I mean, who wants to see Monica and Chandler fight because they're
Yeah.
the lull of their relationship dipped and someone's about to cheat somebody? Like I would die if I saw that.
Yeah. Well, that and also just like the general public expectation for it to be as good as it was
Yeah,
back then,
yeah,
which is like, I'm sure it could, but also it could also not be as good as back when it was. So how it ended is perfect.
Well, also, so you know how so when it ended, they were gonna do spin-offs, right? They did like
Oh, were they?
so they did Joey.
Oh, they did Joey. That's right.
Right? But even before Joey, they were considering. As I read about this a while ago. They were considering about like doing a spin-off with Monica and Chandler's life to
Oh,
come with them, but that didn't pan through. I don't think they even like shot anything, but they ended up doing Joey. And with Joey, it's like I don't know if you ever watched the show.
I totally forgot about Joey, but yes, I did see bits and pieces of it.
So I watched it because I mean, at the time, like being a huge fan of Friends, like I just naturally watched it
Mm.
when it was on, and it was really bad because like Joey's character, like he's this fun, cute, like friend of the rest of the gang, and he's like loving and sweet, but he's also like very like doofy, like very young-minded, very immature, and
Mm.
so when he was by himself with these other characters, it seemed really weird. Like he was like this older guy,
Yeah,
living with these younger people and still like fooling around, like messing around, being a little doofy. And it's like, it just seems really bizarre and creepy and weird. And it came off really creepy. In my opinion, that's how it came off. And like, I couldn't watch it anymore. And it ended up not doing so well.
right. But also because I'm looking at it now, also neither of the the original creators were involved in Joey.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right. I was like, I'm looking. No, I don't think. Yeah, no.
It
Oh,
was
she was no. One of them was an executive producer of Friends, but not one of the creators. Huh. But yes, no, I totally forgot about Joey, which I'm so like it's so funny that you just reminded me of that. But yeah, that was a thing for like 2 seasons.
bad. It was so bad. Like, almost
Yeah, so
yeah.
bad I forgot about it.
Yeah, so that was bad, but I'm glad that they never did any other spin-offs, or I'm glad that they never continue. Like sometimes like an ending is an ending. Like you just have to like let it be.
Mm, mm.
To rewatch the show over and over again for 100 billion times.
Yes. So that was a really yes, it was nostalgia and that was pretty much it.
It's fun. It's
Which
fun
I'm
to
okay
watch and
with.
like not have to think about it. Like if you just want to watch it by yourself or like with friends, it's like just have a glass of wine and like just chill and watch.
Right.
That's it. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
And what was really poignant as well was again later on towards the end of the special, they said I think it was Courtney Cox who said, yeah, like they're never gonna get together again to talk about
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
That's it.
Uh, it like makes me kind of like not sad. It's emotional in a very loving way.
Mm,
There's like a lot of love. It's very sweet, very
mm,
cute.
mm.
I'm trying to think who else came on that show. Tom Selleck came on back, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't aged as well. Like,
I know. I'm like, why does he look exactly the same?
right? I was like, what is going
He like
on?
sat down and see right the next question. I'm like, this guy looks exactly the same. What the hell?
Yeah, yeah. But no, it was a very heartwarming watch.
Yeah.
But on to our next one, the tale
Yeah,
of
Princess
Princess Kaguya.
Kaguya. Yeah.
Well, okay, did you so what did you think? Yay or nay to begin with?
For me, yay,
Uh-huh.
because the illustrations really drew me in.
Oh my god, the illustrations.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. When I started watching it, I was like a little child being transported
So
into like a children's
so
book.
that's funny
Yeah.
because I'm sharing your HBO account.
Mhm.
Um it comes up with what we've seen or like whether you want to continue watching.
Yeah.
So Princess Kaguya came up on here on my screen and it already showed that you watched like 20 minutes of it. And I was like, oh, like, and that was as of this morning. And I was like, I guess you just watched 20 minutes of it
Oh,
and
this
like
morning?
switched off. Yeah. 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 Exactly. And so I was like, I guess you just watched 20 minutes of it and gave up. So I looked at the runtime of it, which is like 2.5 hours. And then I started watching, and then I was like, it's fine, I'll just watch it. So I watched it, and then like first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is an interesting and interesting animation because it's not like your typical Studio Ghibli. It's
Yeah.
literally all like hand hand drawn and like
Yeah.
hand illustrated.
What
So it was
was it?
beautiful. But I was watching the first 10 minutes of it. And I thought, this is interesting because it seems more like a picture book narration,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
which
Yeah.
it took me a minute to like kind of like get used to it and be okay with it and to be more involved with like the story rather than like look as if I was watching a picture book. But yes, so yay for you. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Is it a nay for you?
It's a yay and an A.
hmm
It's a yay and an A.
Okay, it's a yay for me because, like, I mean, I naturally am drawn to storytelling like this and animation like this in
Mm.
general. So like it'll always be on the top of my list. So yeah, when I started watching it, I was so in love with the visuals of it because I just felt like I was being transported in like this other universe, like
Mm.
with the experience because it was just so beautifully done. I wasn't even sure where the storyline was gonna go, but
Mm.
I did love the fact that as bizarre as it was, like nobody around questioned anything as much. They just accepted
Right.
what was happening, which I thought was
Mm.
really interesting too, because I feel like sometimes in films they have to like, talk about background stories, which they did eventually, like later on, but instead of being scared and fearful of like what was happening to this princess that was growing
Mm.
like every second, and they just accepted it and they kind
Mm.
of like moved on with their lives, and like this was like a new thing in their lives, and they just readjusted their lives to this new thing. And even like the young boys of the village, like they thought she was weird, but she like laughed it off. So like there's no bullying really, they just kind of
Yeah.
accepted it. There's just so much acceptance, and
Yeah.
they just continued life and just enjoyed life,
Mm.
which was, I mean, interesting to me because like there's like a level of I want to use the word like, it's like, they were very, maybe not naive's the word. They were also like pretty ignorant, but like not in a negative way. They just didn't know what was happening and they just chose not to even know why. They just
Mm.
it was just happening. Even when the mother produced milk out of nowhere, it was so intuitive. Like she was just like, I have milk, and then she just like ended up breastfeeding the child, and the father was
Mhm.
like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but in that moment, it didn't matter like why it was happening. They just had a child feed, so she
Mm.
did her duty, and like that was it.
Mm.
Um, I loved the storyline of. I mean, it's a long film, so there's a lot happening, but I do love the the relationship she had with the parents because they ended up just being your typical parents. Like the mother was
Yeah.
very understanding and loving and like emotionally understood the princess.
Mm-hmm.
Father, he just wanted so badly to give her the best life that she could have. And unfortunately, with parents, they always want to give the best life to their children, but they don't even know what their children want or what they need.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I just love that whole journey that they had. That like nobody really hated each other. It was just that everyone had different viewpoints because like they loved each other, but like it just wasn't working. And when she had to leave, it was a very sweet moment because like it reminds me of like people letting go. It's interesting because I feel like that's like the theme of like what we're talking about with like Mare and like Friends, right? It's like when the chapter ends, like that's it. You just have to like let it go,
Yeah.
let it be.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's kind of what was happening to them. It wasn't like she died or anything horrible happened, but it
I mean, it was almost like she died
was
because she
almost
got her
like she died
liver
too.
wiped.
Yeah, which is also, I mean, it's a very similar effect. Like, whatever her life was or whatever she created, at some point in
Mm.
life, you have to like move on to the next chapter of your life, the next phase
Mm.
of your life, and you have to let go of
Mm.
that moment. Like the parents had to let go of their child. She had to let go of the guy that she was in love with because
Mm.
they just weren't meant to be. He had a child and a wife. So
Oh my god. Okay. So that bit there when they like reunited towards the end,
Mhm.
I was like, what is wrong with this man? He just willingly kind of says, let's run away together after not seeing her for years. Meanwhile, his fucking wife and his child are stuck up on a hill waiting for him to come back. Like, he's just like, let's run away. I thought, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I immediately thought, what a scumbag.
I know. I'm actually glad that it didn't happen, that he ran off with her. But that moment, I like that moment because it's a moment of fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever, I mean, or have you, I think, like, I don't know if it happens to us or like we probably hear stories about it, but when someone gets off and gets married or gets like engaged to somebody and like in the back of their mind, they think about the person that, you know, the person that got away, the person that ran away, and so to speak. And there is like a moment of fantasy where I think the mind just kind of like encloses like the sort of visual of being with that person and just being so free and like living life and enjoying every moment of it. But reality is that it doesn't happen. Like they just kind of like let go. So yeah, I am glad that they did not end up together though, because that would have been bad on his character.
Oh my god! Well, the fact that it went that far to begin with, already a bad reflection on his character. But no, like going back a bit. Yes, the illustrations were beautiful. It took me, like I said, it took me a minute to get into it. But the part that really drew me into it was actually like kind of midway through. It took me long enough to like kind of really be okay with the animation. The part when she's running away from the party back to like her like back to the countryside, and like that whole sequence, that animation in that whole sequence was gorgeous because it was as if you know when you were a kid and you did all these like little stickman drawings on the corner of like a little booklet and you kind of like flicked it, and it came up like a little moving image. It looked like that, but on a grander scale. and that whole sequence when she's running out of the palace into the countryside and like all her clothes are like falling like behind her, I was like, that is beautiful. That's like really great animation.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
But yeah, the story was hard to like follow for a while because everyone was just okay with this random baby coming out of like a bamboo shoot and like was okay with her just growing up. So I was like, I guess this is not steeped in realism. And then we don't really find out what is happening until she actually says like, oh, she came from the moon. But yeah, that one was hard to follow for a while, but then but yeah, up until that point. And then it just got really sad because, you know, like her parents are distraught and
she herself didn't want to leave either.
She herself didn't want to leave. And it was also the whole part with like the suitors wanting to like finding all, I was like, that is hilarious.
My favorite suitor is the one that talked about running in the field and like being free.
Yes,
and, like,
that one was hilarious.
The blinds.
And this is ex-wife. That was so the whole suitor bit was so funny. And like the other one which was kind of funny but like shouldn't be funny is that he was looking for like the cowrie shell and he falls from the roof and breaks his back and dies.
I know. I love how he falls and they cut to her and they're like, oh, he died.
I was like, okay. Okay. But that whole part was really funny. But then the other thing, right? Right at the very beginning, that kind of like piqued my attention was the cast of this movie, right? So you've got Princess Kaguya, played by Chloe Grace Moretz. What?
Well, that's the English cast.
Right. So I was watching. Did you watch the Japanese cast?
No, I watched the English cast because that's the only one that's available on HBO, which I don't like. I always like to see the original because I think you get out of it.
Oh yeah, no, I normally would, but I
unfortunately
I can't keep reading subtitles and like it's really like yeah. I mean, I always have the subtitles on anyway, but like it's still slightly jarring to
Yeah.
read subtitles and then listen in a language and also keep attention to what the subtitles are saying. But yeah, so the English cast: Chloe Grace Moretz, Darren Criss, James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, which is like already crazy as it is.
Yeah.
And then you have Lucy Liu as the governess.
Oh yeah. I did see that on her cast.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And James Marsden as the suitor who like is talking shit and then
yeah.
Oliver Platt, who like just like a really amazing cast of actors. And I was like, what? How did this happen?
A lot of like I noticed like a lot of Studio Ghibli when they do English cast, it's usually a pretty great.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I remember even like in Ponyo, I watched Ponyo when I first watched it in English because it was on TV. And normally, like I said, when I watch like a foreign like animation, I always watch it with the original language. And I know we talked about this like a few episodes ago, but Ponyo was the one that I just had to watch it like in English because it was just on TV. And I remember like reading the cast. I can't remember right now, but I'll tell you in a second. Like, I'm like, whose voices are these people? Because I recognize them.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and they were all like on English cast.
Oh, Tina Fey. What?
Yeah,
Matt Damon. Kate
Liam
Blanchett.
Neeson. Yeah, Liam Neeson was the one that I recognized first, and I was like, I know this voice. And
No way.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Betty White.
Betty White.
Oh my god. Yeah. Lily Tomlin. Oh my god. Wow. This is a great cast. Actually, I didn't really like Ponyo just because I don't know, like this, which is a weird story.
Oh my god, I love Ponyo.
No, I did not like Ponyo, but it kind of goes back to the whole thing we were talking about, like about children in anime movies, how they annoy the fuck out of me. And even this one, actually, even in Kaguya, kind of that scene where Stamaru is like running through the market with the chicken in his hand, and then they sort of reunite for a moment, and then Kaguya just kind of doesn't do anything.
Oh my god, I hated when she did that.
I was like, what the fuck is your problem, bitch?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's that moment, it really angered me. I mean, she was really young and like didn't know what to do.
It angered me so really much.
Because watching, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when you're like in fear or in shock, you do freeze up and don't know what to do. But
she didn't freeze. She just looked at him and was like, "Nah."
I'm trying to figure out like why that character is. But it broke my heart because I just thought, man, if I saw like the man that I loved like being punched in the face, I don't know.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it. You know, the New York girl in me would be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, not run back inside. Like,
yeah. And she was just like, and then 3 years passed. I was like, what?
Yeah, and I liked his character too. He was very cute. He's very sweet.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was. But oh my god, that bit made my blood boil. Yeah. Like, what did you just do? What? You've been miserable this whole time, and then you see this beacon of happiness right there, and you just kind of go, nah.
Nah, bro. You're on your own.
Yeah. What? I was like, oh god, like you could have shaved off a good half an hour from that film if you just didn't do that. Yeah. But yes, that was the other thing I didn't like. It was like a smidge long, just a smidge long.
Do you think she would have been happy with him had they gotten together and lived?
Had they gotten together? I think she would have been happy, but I think it would have made the ending a lot more tragic. I
think she would have been happy for short term, amount of time, and eventually, because I think what I like about this film too is that sometimes, and it happens in our own lives, that we let's say we want something in life, but it's not meant for us, and we know that something else is meant for us. So the more we hold on to something that we think that we need, or that we think that we want, or we think that it would make us happy, it's like you hold on to a lot more, but eventually that thing in the back of your head is nagging you, and your subconscious, and eventually comes out. And I feel like that would have happened to her as well. Because even though she didn't want to go back to the moon and she wanted to stay longer, but had she stayed longer, she still would have to go back, or it would be in the back of her mind that she'd have to go.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I think if she had gone with him earlier on, it would have made the ending much more tragic, because she kind of got her happiness, and then she had to be ripped away from it. I mean, even though like the ending's sad enough that she's being ripped away from her parents, but at that point, she didn't really have her like quote unquote fairy tale ending.
Yeah.
She had all these men chasing after her.
All these annoying men.
Yeah, right.
Terrible.
And like she recognized that none of them were serious. Like, yes.
Yeah.
But she also recognized that her love was this other guy who she ditched in the road like several years before.
Yeah.
Stupid bitch. But
I do like the fact that she played their game, because
yes,
shooters were all full of words, and I think it's fine watching it. I'm thinking about like all the guys that I've had and that I've dated in the past were terrible, and usually the ones who are full of words and who talk a lot and express a lot with their words only, they're usually the more dangerous ones.
They'll do and say anything to like get you.
Yeah, they get you, they can trap you, and like that's it. Once they have like you for a short amount of time, they're done with you and they move on. And I like the fact that she played their game by saying like, well, you're saying that I'm as beautiful as this, so you should get the object that is just as beautiful as I am, because you're saying I'm that worth. So if you want me, you should get that thing as well, like the branch, and like I love when she did that. I was like, this is
I was
nice.
like, yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, good on you,
girl. Like that's how it should be.
Yeah,
because she knew they were all full of crap.
They
were saying like all these beautiful things, but they weren't really offering her anything. Yet with this other guy that she ditched on the road, he didn't. he didn't have to glamorize like what he could offer at all. He just was himself, and that's what made him so just attractive as a character, as a person. He was not a glamorized human being and didn't have to show off of how strong and gallant he was. Because there's that one suitor who they were telling his story, saying how he was on the ship fighting the dragon, and they were saying how brave he was, but he wasn't. Like,
no, he wasn't. Oh my God,
we're like helping him instead.
Yeah, no, like, that one was funny too. I was like, this is great. Like, this is great. Yeah, I know, right? It's so silly. Yeah. But no, it was great.
What's our next?
Yeah, the end. Yeah, the ending was sad. Because she sort of like remembers it like a dream. Yeah. And then that's the end of it. I was like, oh, we should watch another Studio Ghibli one.
Yes. Yeah.
So we should watch another Studio Ghibli. Let's see what
I gave you like a list of like what I haven't watched.
Yes, you did. I can't remember what they were though.
The only reason why I chose the Tale of the Princess Kaguya was it got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's right. I remember you said that. Yeah.
I didn't even look at the storyline. I'm like, done. We're gonna watch it.
Right. I mean, yes.
I'm going through our WhatsApp chat, and it's like I'm going through this whole chat of us talking about Mare of Easttown.
Oh my God! Yeah, we talked Mare of Easttown a lot.
Oh, here we go. It's from up on Poppy Hill. Pompolo. Only yesterday.
Wait, Pompoko?
Oh, I probably spelled it wrong. Is it?
Yeah, I'm seeing Pompoko on Wikipedia.
Okay. Only yesterday. Uh,
Only yesterday? That one sounds familiar. Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
and then when Marnie was there.
Oh yeah, literally, I was looking at when Marnie was there. That looks good.
That one, I mean, they had a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm.
It's a family drama.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, this actually looks really interesting. A young
Yeah.
girl is sent to the country for health reasons, where she meets an unlikely friend in the form of Marnie, a young girl with flowing blonde hair. As
Great.
the
When
friendship
Marnie was there.
unravels, yeah. As the friendship unravels, Marnie has closer ties to the protagonist that we might expect. Okay, that could be our next one. What's our other films? The Wind Rises. There's
I will, yeah, that one, another Hayao Miyazaki one. That one looks quite good as well.
yeah.
Historical drama.
Oh, this is like romance war. Interesting. It has an 80%
Mm.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god, let's do either or both.
I feel like The Wind Rises look really good. Looks really good. You saw Porco Rosso. You didn't like it?
Porco Rosso, I don't know. It's been a while since I saw it, but I remember not liking it. I don't mind watching it again though.
It's okay. We can hold off. There's The Cat Returns.
It's just because like the whole anthropomorphic pig thing just doesn't really do it for me. But yes.
Oh,
Everything else.
there's also Whisper of the Heart that has 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whisper of the Heart.
Yeah, that one came out in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean Studio Ghibli, right?
Yeah.
But yes, let's do When Marnie Was There.
Yeah.
And whatever else.
I know, what other movies do I need to watch? I don't even know. What other shows? I don't even know. Yeah, let's do those two films in the meantime, unless something comes up. Because I feel like the third is always natural. Like it's very
right.
organic.
The third is always natural. Yeah, just like kind of comes up. But so The Wind Rises next week, as well as When Marnie Was There.
Yeah, we could do that.
Great.
Yes, Studio Ghibli episode.
Thank you for listening to episode 7, a review of the Friends reunion and the tale of the Princess Kaguya on the Every Shade podcast. Stay tuned for episode 8 next week. And don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Instagram at the Dark Brown Channel.